Okay, it's working now. Take 3 on attempting to deliver the speech. For my college peers to review before I perform it for class. Once again from the beginning. Imagine a fuel that can be made from cheap and readily available materials that only needs industrial wastewater, sewage, and exhaust fumes, and the sweepings from the floor of a fertilizer plant. Well, you don't need to imagine it, for that fuel exists. Today I'll be giving you a basic primer on third-generation biodiesel and its benefits to society and the environment. I'll begin by explaining what it is, followed by its benefits as a fuel additive or replacement, and lastly by discussing its potential long-term benefits to the environment by producing it. With that out of the way, let us start by defining biodiesel. More specifically, its third generation. In the literature, biodiesel is described as replacement for or additive to conventional petroleum hydrocarbon-based fuels derived from plant matter or animal waste fats that is both cleaner burning and safer for the environment. Before I explain what biodiesel is, I should probably explain what petroleum hydrocarbon-based fuels is. The Merriam-Webster dictionary describes petroleum hydrocarbon as an oily flammable liquid obtained from wells drilled into the ground and refined into gasoline, fuel oils, and other products. More specifically, in the context of the speech, we are talking about the fuel oil derivative referred to as diesel. While the term hydrocarbon, as explained by the Encyclopedia Britannica, refers to any class of organic chemical compound comprised only of the elements of carbon and hydrogen, which is the chemical makeup of petroleum, aka diesel. With what it can be used as an additive or replacement for, let us define what biodiesel is, or more specifically, its third generation. Biodiesel is defined as a biofuel made predominantly from plant-based oils such as sunflower seed, soybean, and rapeseed oil, as well as other sources of fat such as animal fat and used cooking oil that can be processed into a usable fuel by diesel engines, with third-generation biodiesel being derived predominantly from algae, which is a cheap and abundant source of biomatter, as well as having the highest ratio of fat to biomatter of any feedstock for this process, as well as the fact that it takes less land to grow in comparison to conventional agricultural goods that can be used for this process. With that done, let us discuss why it is used as a fuel additive or replacement and its benefits as such. There are many reasons why third-generation biodiesel is used as an additive or replacement for conventional diesel. The primary 3 reasons are its ability to grow quickly while containing high fat contents, the cheapness of its feedstock and fertilizer, as well as its cleaner burn characteristics in comparison to straight diesel, which is a bit that'll be discussed in greater detail towards the end of the speech. Now, what exactly do I mean when I say algae grows quickly and is rich in fats? According to an article titled "Environmentally Friendly Diesel Blends for Improving the Exhaust Emissions and Engine Performance to Reduce Pollutants Emitted from Transportation Fleets" by A.K. Sharma and Co., most microalgae mature to a harvestable state in 2 to 3 days, with some species being able to double their biomass in 6 to 24 hours. To put that into context, Japara oil and Katanga oil are 2 of the big feedstocks for second generation. They take 2 to 3 years to hit a harvestable state, in comparison to algae's 6 hours to 3 days. For its fat concentration, on the average 20% to 50% of its dry weight is pure fat, making it one of, if not the crop with the highest fat to weight ratio of any feedstock used to produce biofuel. That is why, in the words of Sharma and Co., microalgae biodiesel could have a greater potential as a next-generation sustainable fuel in compression engines compared to Jatara and Potanga biodiesel fuels. Now that I've discussed its growth rate and fat content of algae, I'll move on to the second reason it's an attractive feedstock for biodiesel, that being the cheapness of its fertilizer, or for the actual growth of it. The feedstocks being urea single superphosphate, which is a cheap and readily available fertilizer, as well as literal wastewater, which is a list that, according to the article Algae Cultivation and Wastewater for Biodiesel, a review by C.H. Tan & Co., includes wastewater from agricultural sector, fish farming, landfills, as well as treatment plants, which means that unlike normal terrestrial crops, algae would not compete for clean water in production, because the contaminated water is both the feed source and its growth medium. The last two key components in the growth of algae being the presence of CO2 and sunlight, meaning that to grow algae as a feedstock, you need sunlight, wastewater, exhaust fumes, and readily available fertilizers, leaving you with the byproducts of biomatter, oxygen, and more easily purified water. Which is a pretty good segue into the last part of the speech, as well as the third reason why algae is such an attractive field of research as a fuel additive replacement, that being its benefits to the environment and its cleaner burning characteristics. As stated earlier, due to algae's nutrient needs, it can be used to help purify water and cut down on micronutrients found in wastewater that lead to large-scale algae blooms in the wild that can threaten aquatic ecosystems due to wastewater runoff. Also, due to algae's nature as a photosynthetic cell, it can engage in photosynthesis, meaning that algae can act as a carbon fixer, as well as the fact that since it's aquatic, it can be grown anywhere without a need to take up precious agricultural land, as well as not needing to encroach on pockets of remaining wilderness. Combined with the fact that the fats and oils are collected from dry algae through mechanical means, it can be used as a food supplement for animals, meaning less agricultural land is needed to feed cattle. C.H. Town & Co. put it best in their article. In comparison with terrestrial oil crops, microalgae production requires less land to grow to their high productivity. In addition, microalgae can easily be grown on marginal land which cannot support more valuable crops, which is followed by the characteristics of biodiesel made from algae that make it environmentally friendly, that being its more complete e-combustion in comparison to straight diesel, due to the chemicals makeup of the fuel, as well as the fact that it is naturally oxygenated fuel, meaning it has a more complete burn, leaving less particulate matter than diesel. That, and since it's derived from plant oil, the fuel is far more biodegradable than regular diesel. At the end of the day, I hope I was able to teach you something about third-generation biodiesel, from what it is to what it's made from and why it's better for the environment. Today I gave you a basic primer on biofuel known as third-generation biodiesel and its benefits for both society and the environment. Now imagine a world where vehicles run on engines that are carbon neutral, that are fueled by a substance grown using industrial wastewater, sewage, exhaust fumes, and readily available fertilizers. Well, you might not have to, because it might just be around the corner. Whew, I needed to breathe more while doing this. That's why this is a practice.